week off to let iRacing do some updates, some more updates still today, but we can't wait any longer. It's time to go back racing here, boys. See you around the broadcast here of the Virtual Velocity Racing Cup Series, and we are at an absolute favorite of mine and my co-commentator here tonight. It is the Auto Club Speedway here tonight in Fontana, California. A track that is, well, no longer in real life. They are cutting this thing down to a smaller track, if at all. I'm not even sure what they're doing anymore out there, but it is no longer the beautiful 2-mile D-shaped trioval that it is out here. And this thing puts on some absolute great racing. You're going to see about, I don't know, about 35 different lines through the corner. So get ready for some high-speed action here tonight. Carl Handwerk in the booth with Jimmy Cover. Jimmy, man, I'm happy to be out here.
And yeah, it just seems like just a few weeks ago we were here, but yeah, no, this track puts on some of the best racing in iRacing, and it's going to be one big treat for everybody out there. And you know, if you haven't already, I mean, showing these drivers the support, you know, go ahead and hit that like, share, subscribe bell if you want the notifications automatically when we go live. But this is going to be a good one. The drivers are done with their practice session, so now they're out there going to be taking the track to get some qualifying laps in to see who's going to start this thing off for us here tonight.
So it should have been 3 races into the season at this point, but unfortunately iRacing having some updates, some major updates with the rain coming in, and it's just kind of messed up some settings, messed up some of the Oculus settings, but everybody seems to be back and ready to get at it here this week. So we skipped last week's race at Phoenix, and word on the street is it's actually going to show its head later on in the season, possibly replacing the second race at Atlanta later in the season, but we'll see what happens down the road for that one. For tonight, we are here. This is going to be officially race number 3 of the season. Dalton Kilroe taking the win in the first race at Atlanta, and then coming in third at Las Vegas last week with Robert Kahn taking the win. Means that Dalton Kilroe is your points leader coming into tonight's race by 4 points over Derek Paulson, who has, well, just finished second the first 2 races. So consistency is certainly paying off for Kilroe and Paulson, but Robert Kahn's first race out 2 weeks ago ended up being a dominating performance, just like Kilroe was at Atlanta, and he took home the victory at Vegas. He is back in the field here tonight. He's got some speed in practice, so we'll see if Kahn can get it done here again for win number 2 already on the season. But we've got a full field out here tonight. I mean, we got a ton of drivers out here, and a lot of cars, a lot of different lines. It spells a recipe for great racing.
Yeah, it's very unique. I'm sure we'll see here when they get started underway. How wide this track is here. As you can see on board with Ray Courtney as he's about to make his back second lap here for qualifying, heading down the back stretch down into turn number 3. But yeah, this track is so unique. The lines are plentiful here for right for the picking for these drivers to really get their fastest times in. We've seen the high line work here, the low line work here. We've seen drafting work here. We've seen pit strategy. And speaking of pit strategy, and I think what's kind of pushes these drivers to have such clean races is the fact that there is no fast repairs, Carl. The drivers get one car only, and 2 sets of tires over the wall.
Honestly, I mean, it's the way it should be. You got to drive it like you own it, and that's what no fast repairs makes you do. I mean, you can't put a scuff on it, especially at a track like this, where this is more of a track where out and out speed is going to be very, very important. Obviously, we had Atlanta, we had Vegas, and you definitely don't want to get any nicks or bangs or bumps into your car for those tracks either. But here at Auto Club, it is definitely one where you want to be at your absolute highest speed all the time, and these guys won't be lifting that much at all, at least early on in the runs. A little bit later on the runs, it's going to be probably searching around for the most grip, feeling out where the car wants to be, and not letting it dance up and out of the corners, really coming out onto the front stretches where you got to worry about it, kind of dancing up, getting close to the wall. But this is another 1.5 to 2 mile track. So it is 120 laps on the docket here tonight. Going to be a great one out here, and I'm looking forward to it. I mean, again, a real nice size field, and you see the time so far in qualifying. Not going to be much separating this entire pack. I mean, from front to bottom, it's going to be very, very close. The draft is going to come into play big time here. But yeah, I mean, when it all comes down to it, we've seen it. Pit strategy and making sure you hit your marks is very, very important. Here, it's probably one of the easiest pit roads to get into, but you got to take advantage of every little second, every little bit of speed coming in, and the same thing coming out to maximize, or should I say minimize, the time in the pit lane.
Yeah, and it can play a big factor, and it has, especially for races that tend to go green, and as clean as these drivers have made the season so far. With the first two books, basically, start to finish, you get out there, get this thing done. It can pay off huge, being able to hit them pit entries and execute in your pit stop. But qualifying is over, Carl. 23 drivers with times in. We'll go ahead and run down that lineup here tonight as qualifying is over. So the guy on the pole, Mr. Consistency already, Derek Paulson there on the outside with Gordon Larson. Row number 2 will be Cody Griffin and Brian Dees. Row number 3, Ty Marusco with Cade Green. Row number 4, Ray Courtney with Robert Kahn. Row number 5, Ryan Allen and Tyler Hilton. Row number 6, Mike Taylor with Craig Learman. Row number 7, Chris Moreland with Joshua Divers. Row number 8 will be Todd Merkel with DJ Mitchell. Row number 9 will be Len McNeese with Tim Lee. And we'll go ahead and forward the rest of the field here. Our row number 10 will be Mike Rideout with Eric Blount, and then Joseph Gravala with Garrett Johnston, and then Hilton Young and Derek Pratt back there, or Michael Pratt back there in row number 12. Row number 13 will be Tim Williams and Brian Rainville. Row number 14, Chris Schulfler and Ray Radford, and that last position will be Todd Boston. So great field here, 29 cars on the track. Only the last 6 drivers not putting in times, Carl, and not necessarily a bad thing at the start in the back here, but maybe not a place that these drivers want to stay, as this track doesn't need other drivers to get around here and be able to pull away.
I noticed 2 things on the qualifying timesheet right there. One of them being our season points leader, Dalton Kilroe, not in attendance here tonight, so going to be a new points leader after tonight's race. The other thing is, as you said, Mr. Consistency on the pole by a huge margin. I mean, just absolutely obliterated everybody in qualifying by a full 1,000th of a second. So, I mean, that's how close it is. That's how close it's going to be here tonight. It's going to be some fun racing for sure, and I'm looking forward to it. Again, 120 laps are on the board here tonight, and it's going to take everybody your scale here tonight. I don't think there's going to be that much of a chance to break away. I think these cars handle the track very, very well. Again, you can put it just about anywhere. So I think passing is going to be very, very plentiful, to say the least, and it's going to be really hard. Maybe late in the runs, you'll see some guys with just a little bit better consistency with the tires be able to kind of break away just a little bit, but I think this is going to be almost close to pack racing, not necessarily your Daytona or Talladega, but I think most of the pack is going to hang together, and we got 29 of them out here tonight. So who is going to bring it home? Who's your favorite driver out there? Who are you rooting for? Who you think is going to get it done? Who are we going to be interviewing after the race? Make sure you put it in the comments, and we'll try and get your driver as much time as possible. But it's time to go racing, boys and girls. Barney has the green flag in hand, and we are racing at Auto Club. Bit of a bobble towards the back, but everybody getting away cleanly. It's still 2x2. Good start here for Derek Paulson. He clears, but the 48 dropping down to the bottom already. Cody Griffin wanting the lead right away, so they're going to go side by side coming off of turn number 2. Still going to give the edge to Derek Paulson as they're about 3, 4, 13 wide back there, trying to shuffle out and get your positions. I mean, again, I don't think the pack is going to break away too much, but it's so tasty when all the cars are right there. And you're not having to work for 2-3 laps to try and get around somebody. You can possibly get 2 or 3 guys right from the rip, and these guys want to do that for sure.
Yeah, right off the rip, obviously spreading out, trying to get some time, get those positions early while everybody is grouped up and quickly get around this track. But yeah, they are doing a fantastic job so far, keeping it clean, keeping it green, and the guy out front is going to be Cody Griffith in that number 48 Lowe's machine here tonight so far over Derek Paulson, taking the early lead.
Good start by the crew here, and it is the 48 of Cody Griffin leading the way. Still doing battle back there for 3rd place and possibly again here for the lead, as Derek Paulson is got to be happy with the start of the season. I mean, you can never get too mad about 2 second places in a row to start the season, but eventually that gets a little old. Don't you want to stop being the bridesmaid. You want to be the one that's the showcase driver here, and already fighting to get that lead back, going down the backstretch to 16 to the inside and give him the position heading into turn number 3.
Yeah, looking obviously driving very separate lines here, and what we like about this track so much is, the track is so wide you can't defend this track. It is literally 5 lanes wide, and somebody can be way on the outside, and you have to be careful, being out there, especially when using the virtual spotters. It really can be deterrent, but we do have a crash towards the back. Yeah, we will go back with our first caution of the season, I believe. Right there, Garrett Johnson and Michael Pratt getting into the wall, spinning that vehicle around.
And it looks like a little 4-wide racing right there, and just a nose getting into a back bumper where it shouldn't be, and these guys are going to get back together. You see, it looks like the 77 Pratt maybe coming down just a little bit, clipping the back bumper of Johnston. And neither guy getting away scot-free on that one, as you see the bumper there coming off of the 77, 66, or I'm sorry, the 15 certainly has a little bit of damage as well. And both these guys are going to be limping around and trying to get some repairs done. Still plenty early in the race, but again, no fast repair means that car is not going to probably ever get back to even close to 100%. So it's at damage control now. You gotta be smart about it. You certainly are not out of the race, and you never know how races go. I mean, you could be dead last, you could be off speed by 5 miles an hour and still squeak your way out with a top 15, top 20, and it's really about making the best of your bad races. I mean, you can have a bad race here and there and still win the championship, but it's when you just kind of give up and finish 30th when you possibly could have finished 15th. It could be the difference in your championship or not.
Yeah, and the thing is, even though you got some damage and got early taker here down to the pits, actually a few drivers coming down, so maybe a pit call strategy here early, only on lap, or we just turned onto lap number 6, so this is an interesting tactic here, but I don't think these drivers will be taking anything but fuel, Carl.
Yeah, I mean, at the back half of the field are coming in here and going to be most likely, like you said, taking fuel only. These guys only have 3 sets of tires to work with for the entire race, so hopefully you're taking a look at all your settings. These guys, if you're not familiar with what these guys have to deal with, it's not just getting in the car and driving. I mean, you're in control of everything. You're the driver, you're the crew chief. You're pretty much everything. I mean, some guys may have a guy in there as a spotter, and your spotter can take care of things, but most, if not all, guys in there are driving behind the wheel and taking care of everything. That means they're checking on or off if they want tires, how much fuel they want, everything. I mean, you're in control of just about anything that you want to do. So it is it can be a little bit stressful when you come up to a pit stop, especially if it's something that comes up pretty quickly and you're not ready for it. And the biggest thing that drivers make the mistake on is leaving the fast repair checked. Again, these guys don't have to deal with that here, but it's something. I mean, you can take it the same way with tires. These guys only have a few set of tires, And if you accidentally leave them checked on, especially when you're only here on lap 6 and you burn up a set of tires right away, it is going to be a long race that you have to think about that the entire time.
Yeah, I mean, you could accidentally, leave that tire box checked and come in. Next thing you know, you just blew through your first set of tires with a lot of time left. You see a few more drivers there going back down in the pits, and I'm sure that is the two drivers that were maybe involved here. Let's see, catch the camera.
Looks like it might be just some guys topping off on fuel here.
Not a bad call being in the back.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Yeah, come in, just top off, and you never know how everything plays out. And you got the Bill Darrell Waltrip paint scheme there with the Western Auto. So good looking paint scheme there. But yeah, I mean, it's a thing where you come in there and you think either you think everything's set, or you thought you had everything set before, and all of a sudden that right side of the car goes up and your heart just drops. and you know you made a mistake, and there's nothing to do. As soon as that car goes up, it's changing those tires. So you can click it off as quick as you want. You can click those left side tires off, so at least you don't take all 4, but doesn't matter. You're already out a set of tires. We are getting ready to go back racing here. Derek Paulson is going to be your control car at the front in the 16. 48 of Cody Griffin going to line up on the outside. Your outside pole sitter here, Gordon Larson, is going to be now in 3rd for the restart here. Robert Kahn already up 4 positions, started back there in 8th position, but he's up to 4th now, already on that 2nd row, so already hunting and looking for the lead here tonight. He led a bunch of laps out there at Vegas, looking to try and get back to the point here tonight, but the pace car is making that left-hand turn down into pit lane. We're about ready to go racing one more time here at Auto Club. In the hands of Derek Paulson, and he's on the loud pedal. We're back racing.
Yeah, back green underway. We're going to take a ride on top of Hilton Young. Back here in 14th spot, currently up 9 spots down that inside lane. And it does seem to be, one of the preferred blinds. Drivers don't mind being down there. Really, obviously the shorter way around the track, but you see a good start way out front up there for Derek Paulson on this one here. It looks like this the lower side of the lane right now not working too well for Hilton Young, just falling back just a spot. But with as many spots he's picked up so far, I want to doubt to see this number 38 up there very soon. You can see all the drivers kind of trying to find their lane down the front stretch here up in front.
Yeah, bottom line, just dancing around just a little bit right now. Could be a little bit of cold tires yet, as these guys didn't really have a chance to warm them up too much, or burn them off for that matter, in the first little run. But now you're on your second run here, coming off of the green flag, and you really just, you got to find a way to settle in. Of course, you want to still make the passage. Everybody is still grouped together, and you want to try and get as much done as possible, but you still have a long race to go, and you don't want to throw it away. You don't want to be one of those guys that damage your cars. I just see, Michael Pratt back towards the back here. Garrett Johnson making up a little ground with the pit strategy. He's up to 23rd right now, but these guys still want to get racy. It's very easy to get racy. You get so many different lines, and right now, if I'm in the car, I'm searching around trying to figure out where my car likes to work. I mean, there's 15 different ways to tackle the corner. Well, now's your time to experiment. Find out which feels the best, which one seems to have the most speed, which one seems to be able to be easiest on the tires. You need all kind of bank that information in there, because it's one thing going out there and practice, and you can go out there by yourself, turn 200 laps by yourself, and figure out, okay, this is the line that's the fastest, this is what I feel is the best. You get in there with 28 other cars, the air is going to do a lot different things to that car, especially if you're behind, or even if you're the guy out front. So you need to kind of experience a little bit of it, experience how that air is going to affect the front end of that car, if it's going to push, if it's going to get a little loose in traffic, and you may have to have a completely different line that you're prepared for.
Yeah, and there's just so many out there. So, I mean, great choice of lanes, I mean, and just driver styles that can vary from track to track. And this one here allows you to see some close racing back there. That City Chevrolet back there with I think that's right, Cade Green, right in front of Cade Green. But I think is that Gordon Larson? Yeah, Gordon Larson, and the 00.
Battle for second place as Robert Kahn on the inside trying to move up that second, and we got another incident right at the front of the pack. These guys are going to have to dive out of the way, and big impact there in the back. That is going to destroy the 19 car. Big impact right there. And Cade Green is most likely going to be out of this race. Looks like he might be able to limp it back, but you see the 19 and the 43 just kind of get hooked together coming off the corner. The 43 gets away. Certainly some damage to him, but you see right here, big impact towards the back of the pack, and trying to see who that was. It looks like it might have been, looks like Allen. Yeah, Ryan Allen getting into him very, very hard, and you see a lot of smoke right there, and not just from the tires. I think that's from the engine. So I'll be surprised if the 19 can limp it back to pit lane, even just to get some service done, and hard impact there for Ryan Allen as well. That is going to bring us to our second caution, and really, I mean, we could take a look and ride on with Ryan Allen there. I don't know if there's really anything he can do. He was blocked out by the Honey Nut Cheerios car right in front of him, who all of a sudden at the last second made a left-hand turn, and I think it was just a little bit too late for him to even react there to make a split-second decision, and unfortunately could end up being a horrific start to his night.
Not much you can do when you're going for a ride or arcade. Oops. And so many drivers out here.
87 Ryan. 87 Ryan Allen.
There he is.
And
Oof.
There he is.
Just the time.
There he is, indeed. Yeah.
Pretty big hit. Trying to, I'll go ahead and flip the camera around to see what kind of damage was done to that car, just to kind of give you an idea. But, all in all, I think I've seen worse, Carl.
Yeah, but in the same case, as soon as that hood pops up a little bit, it never goes fully back down. That thing is going to be hurt. You wonder how much it's hurt on speed overall. I mean, it's the aero is going to be affected the rest of the race. So you just gotta do your best with what you got. I mean, again, you never know where what position you can limp home in. We've already had 2 cautions here tonight after going clean the first 2 races. This is, again, it's a track where there's multiple lines and these guys can search all over the place, but it also means drivers can get maybe a little bit more aggressive and try and look for those passes there, right? It just looked like, unfortunately, 2 cars just kind of getting hooked together, and you're kind of along for the ride at that point. It's really not much either driver can do unless the 43 would have turned hard to the right just to get off of the 19. I think that was the only way to kind of unhook the cars, but that means the 43 is certainly destroying his car by doing that. But this is caution number 2 here on lap number 14. Still got a long way to go here tonight. Over 100 laps yet, but it is Derek Paulson at the front. Cody Griffin, Robert Kahn, Ty Marasco, Gordon Larson, your top 5. Tyler Hilton now in 6th. DJ Mitzel, Brian Dees, Tim Williams, Joshua Divers, if I can try that one more time. I feel like Jimmy for a second there. Joshua Divers in your top 10.
Your turn. Karma.
Such an easy name. I mean, I understand why you struggle with Krishalva. I'm messing around with Joe. I still can't even say it. Joshua.
It does become challenging. It's something I've always had problems remembering people's names or how to say them until after about halfway through the season. I might get it down correctly, but it's definitely it's very fun to get out here and watch these drivers get around here, and sometimes even the mispronunciation of somebody's name is turned into a paint scheme. So I mean, it's happened in the past, and it could always happen again here in the future. But that doesn't affect the way these drivers drive out here, and they're doing a great job, Carl. And it is very hard with so many lines to be able to race, and that virtual spotter is only so good, and you could think that you're clear, and then you go just a little bit to the left, and next thing you know, you're getting yelled at. You're 3 wide. So it's really touchy on bigger tracks where you can get some serious separation to the left and the right.
especially on that lower line, because you tend to drift up just a little bit. And if the guy on the outside is running the full outside, then you're okay. You can drift up that little bit. But if he's running that middle line, you're going to drift up, and you're probably going to touch bumpers like they did right there. But we are back racing here. The 16 of Derek Paulson back on the loud pedal. We're racing here again at Auto Club. Cody Griffin getting a push on the outside by Ty Marasco as they head off into turn number 1. It's going to be Paulson, Griffin, Marasco now moving into third. Tyler Hilton's going to go around the outside as Robert Kahn not getting a good run on the bottom through 1 and 2, but here comes the 48 again, challenging for the lead. Not sure, are we live, Jimmy? Because I'm seeing a change over here on my time and scoring, and it seems like it's a little bit later over here, but either way, there we go. The 48 is in the lead, and give that lap lead to Cody Griffin. Derek Paulson making a run again, and you wonder at what point do the guys up front just kind of settle in and maybe start looking for fuel mileage. But these guys are just wanting to get racing here, and I'm loving it. I mean, they're putting on a great show so far. A little bit of a tight squeeze on the outside there from Robert Kahn, but he's going to make the pass on the 6 of Eric Blunt to move himself back up into 6th. And man, just the positions just swapping over and over again, every lap, every turn.
It's kind of hard to watch all these cars sometimes. Trying to, I mean, everything is so interesting, and trying to put the entertainment on the screen definitely becomes difficult with these great tracks. But great racing so far. It looks like the drivers are starting to well, they're definitely fanning out, but kind of searching for that line that works for them here throughout the race. And they have to be careful with these tires. They can burn them up, but yeah, they're going to have to make pit stops, without getting them tires. So, just because you come in, you're not going to get relief and get more grip. So they're going to have to take care of these tires just a little bit here for the 120 laps, as we're on lap 18 of our 120. And Cody Griffin is still out front, as Derek Paulson has his hands full with Tyler Hilton in that 02.
The big movers in the race, as we have Eric Blunt up 12 or 13 positions, depending on where he shifts up there to the 7th or 8th. Joseph Rajaba up 12 positions as well, from 21st up into the top 10 right now. Up 16 positions, Todd Poston started shotgun on the field and now threatening to work his way up into the top 10 here. So great start for these guys. A few guys towards the back, though, that just started up front and got caught in some early incidents. And speaking of early incidents, we got some more on the front stretch, and guys diving all over the place. That involves some guys up inside the top 10 again. And looks like the 57 right there of Joshua Divers coming across and taking out the 6 of Eric Blunt. And then the 57 went up across the track again. The 98 just squeaking by, and you see the cars just jumping all over the place to try and get around. And unfortunately, I think I did see one car take to the high side, and yet right here looks like locking it up, trying to figure out which lane he needs to go to, and trying to figure out who that actually was that got into the wall right there. But some more hard impact here early. And Jimmy, this isn't happening, middle of the pack, back of the pack. This happened towards the front of the pack. So, some of our maybe early favorites are really starting to falter early.
Yeah, and there's really not much you can do there. It's right there in front of the 10 as they veer off to the left, and as the 10 will go by and not get involved. You can see the that 57 come up into the picture there, come back up to the screen for Joshua Divers as he gets turned around here, and it looks like. Oh, who was that? That was I didn't quite catch that car, but definitely a lot of things going on here. They're trying to save it, and the 57 did come back up on the track, and he might have been able to go down to the grass, but I could see where in the moment, trying to catch that car to get back going the right way, and hopefully not lose too many positions, but. There's Mike Rideout, as we've seen him. I think he was one of the cars that had a little bit of interest in the wall. But the drivers are coming back down pit lane here again on lap 22 to get some repairs, fuel, and still think it's a little too early for tires, but we might even see some tire changes here.
Yeah, I think so too. If they went green and this was their first pit stop, maybe you consider taking taking tires here. But the fact that we've had a couple cautions now, this being the third caution, I think it's definitely too early to be taking any kind of tires here. Just go in there, take your fuel, get the car under control, and get ahead of pit road. But we did a few guys staying out there, and in fact, the top 6 staying out with Eric Blunt, the one of the cars involved in that incident, being one of the guys that stayed out. And I don't think Eric Blunt actually got into anything other than pit road. He was sent down pit road with the contact there, so he may have been able to kind of get away and really avoid the incidents by getting sent down pit road. So yeah, I mean, I don't really see too much action on the outside of that 6 car right there. It looks like it's driving pretty fine right now, unless I'm missing something. So may have gotten away with it a little bit, maybe on the inside of the front driver's side fender, but that's about it. So some close moments there for the 6.
Yeah, so 6 looks like it's made out fairly well there, to be honest, Carl. Just like a bruise. Stroll around the 6 there, so it kind of has to stay down at the bottom, let those cars go by as the leaders will start gathering back up here. See with Cody here, I think the lights will go out in the pace car this time by. They'll be doubling up here, but right now it's Cody Griffith, Tyler Hilton, Gordon Larson, Ryan Dees, Chris Moreland, and Derek Paulson, Mike Taylor, Todd Merkel, Joseph Travala, Todd Poston, Ty Marasco, Robert Kahn, Garrett Johnston, Tim Lee, Len McNeese, Hilton Young, Chris Schusler, Ray Courtney, Michael Pratt, and Eric Blount for your top 20.
Yeah, new leaders out front. Cody Griffin still up there on the front, but Derek Paulson now back towards the back. He's in 6th or 7th position. He's going to have to fight his way up through the field. We'll see how that car handles in traffic now. See how quick he can get up there, but another one, Robert Kahn, all the way back there in 12th. So we'll see how quick he can make his way through. But Todd Boston, we've seen him do it before, and starting shotgun on the field here tonight, up 20 positions. You can't pass everybody unless you start dead last. So I guess, that's what he's looking to do. But yeah, and he is inside the top 10.
Yeah, and he was one of the cars. There's so many cars with great paint jobs, and it looks like that car is pretty clean, so hopefully he's. Oh, and there's some stuff going on back here with Tim Williams. What is going on as a car goes around here underneath caution?
I've seen it in the back there, and oh wow, yeah, that is big impact there for the 45 of Tim Williams, and under caution there, and he was kind of an innocent bystander there as the 87 came up underneath. And I mean, I don't think he's seen that he was down there at all, maybe just kind of coming down to warm up his tires, and all of a sudden gets clipped and sends him right to the wall,
right in front of the 77 as well. Not something you normally see, especially not underneath the caution. But the caution flag will come back out, but they hurry up and gather everything back out, and it looks like they'll be going back green here after this lap.
Yeah, pace car lights are back out. They decided to take one extra pace lap there with the incident under caution, which I'm sure will certainly be talked about afterwards. I know Tim certainly likes to try and keep these guys as clean as possible, so I'm sure there'll be some discussions set up for after the race here, if there's not already being discussions right now in the race. But it is Cody Griffin and Tyler Hilton on the front row. Those guys are going to be sending these guys off one more time. We are on lap 24, so clicking away here little by little, but I mean, once these guys get green, it should be going by a little bit quicker here. It is going to be in the hands of Cody Griffin this time. We'll see how he can do out front. Now, he is the control car. He doesn't have to try and make a pass on Paulson. Paulson's the one that's going to try and charge back up through the field. So we'll see if he can get out there and get clean, or if Tyler Hilton has something to say. but pace car is off, and we are back racing at Auto Club.
Again, another good start there by the 48 of Cody Griffin to take the early lead over there with Tyler Hilton, as the drivers will try to spread this thing out here quickly and shortly. The leader jumping out there to get away from everybody. Go back to the back of the field just a little bit so we can kind of see what's going on. We'll look back from Chris Moreland as the two of Todd Merkel is behind him.
Good restart for these guys, and the tires are now going to start getting a little bit worn here for the crew, so they have to keep that in mind, and the fact that they're cold as we have another one dancing a little bit back there. We are going to stay green, but certainly some movement going on towards the back of the pack right there, looking back from Robert Kahn, who is trying to move his way back up, already back up into the top 10 in 10th place right now, running that high line. And I mean, really, again, we talk about the multiple lines here in the corners, but I mean, really, there's kind of two preferred lines. You're going to run the top, you're going to run the bottom. If you need to make some passes and you got a good car, you can send it up the middle. And I mean, these guys will sometimes even go 4 wide, but realistically, you know, the top line, the bottom line are the ones you kind of want to work with. And that's what you're seeing right now, and that the top line can certainly carry a lot more speed coming off the corner. But it is Cody Griffin out front, Tyler Hilton right there in second, Gordon Larson, Brian Dees, and Derek Paulson, your top 5.
Yeah, I'm busy. My eyes are all over the place. I'm trying to look at where people are battling and just trying to get the fans out there a good view of what it's like to just kind of be wrapped up in with these cars, and they're just so spread out. There is like, you got a few drivers that seem to be trying to work together, but you can see the 38 tripping a wall there just a little bit, allowing the other car to get by him that was underneath, and that would have been
I lost it there myself now. Yeah, that was the 38 there, and I believe that was the 77 of Michael Pratt getting by. But yeah, it's one of those moments where the 38 didn't get in the wall a lot, but it was enough to throw up a little bit of smoke, a little bit of dust, and enough to just be a, you know, brown pants moment for actually with Ray Courtney that got around him right there. And you know, we just got done with a couple cautions here. That's the last thing you want to see is the car in front of you getting in a wall, and you have to make an evasive maneuver and hoping that you don't get involved in it. But these guys now starting to stretch out just a little bit here. It is the 48 out front, not by much, by only about 0.2 of a second over Tyler Hilton. But you see the field. I mean, it looks like it's a lot more spread out than it is, because you know they go into the corners and they have all different kinds of lines. So it seems like the field's spread out, but then you look back at the track map and everybody is still right there all together.
Yeah, and it's just, you know, you get sort of kind of taking a walk around Tim Lee's number 24. You know, as he's sitting, you know, just farther back than mid-pack, but you can just see like the chaos. Like, I wouldn't call it chaos. It's just all the drivers searching for that groove and what's going to work. So to make that position up to get that move done, as Tim's going to the low side, is going to make up a couple moves himself here, moving up into that 17th spot there for that number 24. So good run so far there for the number 24 as he makes his way up to the field.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you were too wrong on the chaos there. I think it's controlled chaos is what it is right here. As the 4 gets loose there, DJ Mitzel, great save through the corner. Not sure if he had any help there or not, but that was a great save coming through 3 and 4, and keeps this thing green here as we are on lap 31 now. So quarter of the way through this race, and I feel like the next pit stop, whether it's under green or under caution, is going to be time to take that first set of tires, and we'll see these guys probably get even more racy when that happens. But battle for the lead up front, Tyler Hilton to the inside, and thought he was going to slide up in front of the 48, but not going to happen. So the 48 going to fight back, but right behind him, the 17 of Brian Dees into the wall. Side by side to the line is still going to be Cody Griffin that time by, as the 16 of Paulson almost gets into the 17 right there. Close action here at Auto Club.
too close for my comfort. Those some nail biters there. We're in with plenty of laps remaining, and it's the competitiveness of any race car driver that's out there is really high, and everybody wants to get to the front. Everybody wants to lead a little bit, and especially come away with a victory. And it's just so tempting to, like, when you get that run, to just thread the needle. And hopefully the other person doesn't do the exact same thing that you're doing, so we actually get together. So these top five here are doing a fantastic job kind of battling out, and then you got another little group behind them, and you see it was the 28 of Robert Kahn with the 2 of Todd Merkel doing battle there for 7th and 8th. But Joseph up in that 10 machine, up 15 spots so far, Carl. We were talking about Todd Pawson trying to come from the front to the back. That is up 17 spots, but Joe's doing a fantastic job out there right now.
Yeah, so far so good. These cars starting to stretch out just a little bit, and I think this is, you're starting to see the guys that are just comfortable with the car, comfortable with how this track is running right now. Some other ones that are just being maybe a little bit more tentative, and then some other ones that are just, kind of licking their early wounds here towards the back. But bit of a breakaway here for the front 7 cars. Cody Griffin leading the way over Brian Dees. Robert Kahn at the back of that pack, and then leading the second pack there is the 2 of Todd Merkel. So we'll see how these guys start to stretch out, and see when they decide to come into pits. Because again, with these guys having the 2 sets of tires in the pits, you can decide to make this thing a 2-stop race and come in around lap 40 if you wanted to, if you want to split this thing into thirds. But considering all the caution laps that we had in the beginning, wouldn't be surprised if these guys want to stretch it out just a little bit further on that first run, and kind of maybe decide what you want to do on that second pit stop. Maybe decide to gamble and take 2 tires or what have you. So we'll see how late these guys decide to take their first run into the race.
The field's starting to stretch out just a little bit, and I think the drivers it's kind of calmed down just a little bit, knowing that they have a lot more race to go, and quite a few pit stops probably need to be made here. But the 16 of Derek Paulson riding at the high side right now, and that tends to be the kind of favored line once the tires start going away a little bit more. So, but these drivers up front still battling for position, and with a full course caution is out on lap 36. It looks like Ty Maresca. Oof.
Yeah, the one there with Ty Marasco spinning around
the 31.
Right in the middle of the backstretch.
Yeah, I think that was Todd Potts.
Todd Pawson. And yeah, it just looks like he comes off, Ty Marasco comes off the corner, gets into the back of the 31, just a little bit, kind of funky, and gets both of them loose. But unfortunately, both cars are going to come away with some type of damage. The way it looks, that the one obviously a little bit hurt more. So it's going to bring us to another caution here on the track, and now it's going to get interesting because it's right around the time where I feel like now is a good time to take tires, but possibly, maybe you see kind of the writing on the wall that we're getting, maybe 10 laps at most before there's another caution. So maybe you decide to hold off one pit stop here and come in the next time and take tires. So we'll see what these guys do here, but this could be kind of the start of some interesting pit strategy.
And let's see, leader is going to lead them down, so we're going to have a pit party here. It's the top 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20.
The entire field, the way it looks, unless looks like maybe Mike Rideout staying out to get a lap back. Cade Green doing the same thing to try and get back up here. Rideout would be back on the lead lap, and Cade Green would only be 1 lap down. Looks like we've only lost 1 person so far, that being the 43 of Craig Lerman. So still 28 cars in the running.
And
but most guys, once again, looks like only taking fuel only. We got a few guys taking tires, but a lot of the guys up front here are only taking fuel.
They hold them tires precious. Obviously, we're not allowed
You should.
we're almost a third of the way through. So, like you said, it's not a bad idea. So, if somebody took tires, you're going to see a huge difference here at this point of the race. So, the people that took tires, and if they're going to be back on the field, now everybody's going to be grouped back up. So, you're going to see some fast cars in the back that are going to come flying through, and they got to be careful because how spread out and that the drivers get. And I'm not talking spread out from front to back, but from left to right. So there's a lot of weaving that's going to need to be done by some of these drivers.
Looks like the first car taking tires is the O2 of Tyler Hilton. Cody Griffin also taking tires. So that's going to put Brian Dees at the front of this pack. But Derek Paulson now, again, right there in second place. Joseph Grzalva in third. Robert Kahn up to fourth. Top 7 electing not to take any tires, only taking fuel here. So we are going to be going back green here on lap 40. And it's going to be right at about that third way mark. I mean, it's kind of all feel too. You got to take a look at how much the tires are falling off. I mean, you not getting that long of a run to kind of feel out the car, but you kind of need to take a look at your times and see how much of a drop off it is, and if it's worth actually taking tires. I mean, you're not running that long right now to heat them up and get them angry. So how much are you actually wearing them? And that could be what some of these guys are thinking as we get some more coming into the pits to top off on fuel and maybe get some more repairs done towards the back of the pack. But it is going to be the 17 and 16 on the front row restarting this race.
I missed them. They're coming. They're entering in 3 right now. So, but yeah, they're getting ready to come on by here shortly. The whole field. It's still 28 drivers on the track right now. Only Craig Lerman in the number 43 has parked it for the evening. Probably sustained too many damages to keep going, but gonna get this thing back under green here as the pace car comes in.
So Jimmy, in a race like this, where it's starting to be, I don't want to say a little bit of a caution fest, but we've had a few cautions now, and we're just getting to the third way mark. Does that change your mindset at all? Do you look at it? I feel like there's 1 or 2 ways to look at it, or maybe 3. One being doesn't matter. I'm still running the race that I plan on. Are you getting maybe a little bit more aggressive, knowing that the next caution could be right around the corner and you want to gain positions as quick as you can, as we had another incident towards the back where it looks like we're going to stay green? Or are you on the other mindset of, I need to be safe here, I need to make sure I get a little bit deeper in this race before I actually start getting at it?
I mean, you've seen there, they already, the 77 of Michael Pratt, you're getting in the wall, and now he has right side damage, so he's going to make the decision to come down to pits and maybe try to get some of that fixed here early, and so he doesn't have to go out there and kind of suffer through a bad handling car. But yeah, there's not room for much mistakes here. I mean, like I said, it's fast, there's plenty of lines, and it's great racing, and you just really got to be so self-aware of where everybody's kind of at by looking at your relatives, and hopefully you got triple monitors or VR, you can actually look left and right, or you're real good with the left-right look buttons, so you can kind of check what's out there when you're when you're turning down in, or if you want to let that car go out so you're not getting in the side of somebody.
Come on, Jimmy, bring me back to the days of racing with a controller on a laptop. That's all you need here, right? That's you don't need anything more special than that. It's just racing, right?
No, Carl, what are you thinking? No, that's like so 1980s. Or I should say in the 90s. There's a close one right there. Again, up front.
And that's what's kind of surprising. I mean, a lot of these wrecks have happened with the guys up there in the top 10 towards the front of this pack. And again, we lost a few contenders that maybe had a chance at the win here tonight. But Derek Paulson, your pole sitter, has found his way back to the front of this pack. And Brian D is now in second. Robert Kahn creeping up there. He is up to third place. Joseph Rajalva, 17 spots up from the start. He is in fourth place right now. Todd Merkel up 10 spots in fifth. Tyler Hilton now making the pass and moving into fifth place. But we've got a gaggle of cars here. I mean, the side-by-side for second, side-by-side for third, actually fourth, side-by-side for sixth. It's lap 44. These guys don't want to go away at all, and maybe even wide there for a second, as I think these guys are taking the former of my question, and they're trying to get every position as quick as possible.
I mean, they're getting the run, and that's the way it goes. You get that draft, you get that run, and you can see them suck up. But like here, where they're 3 wide, you really just can't be. There's so many laps left, and just to use patience. So and it's a close one there by Joe. He is searching.
Yeah, I think when these guys come in for their next pit stop, they're going to ask for 4 tires and a little bit of Crisco on the bumpers, just to make sure they can slide in with some of these passes that they're making and some of these moves. I mean, it's very, very close, and I mean, you need to understand where the front and the back end of your car is, and some of these guys are in this car, just for fun. They race a bunch of different cars. Some of these guys specialize in the next gen, and they know every inch of this car as they've run it multiple times. And I think that's what you're seeing some of these moves are. Either that or just, I can fit there. That works. I'm going to try that.
Excuse me. Coming through. Beep, beep. You see, just kind of right on board with Mike Taylor there. Is currently in 12th spot, only down 1 spot because the 24 Tim Lee is able to move up into P number 10, making that 24 known up front here. Is this is kind of, I like this angle here, Carl. You get for Mike Taylor anyways, he's riding that high side, just kind of maybe trying to stay out of the way of everybody and just know that he has plenty of laps remaining. And you can see how the other cars are kind of weaving to the left and right, searching for that lane there. You can see them go almost 3-4 wide up there with the 48. Right there. Oh, catch by the 48 and going a little sideways.
These guys certainly wheeling and dealing right now, and I mean, again, we're not too far into this run. We're at about 10 laps, and this seems to be the money spot where these guys just start getting a little bit extra aggressive like that right there. Another great save here. The 24 almost into the wall out there. That's Tim Lee, man behind the curtain here at VVR, getting it done, moving himself now up into the top 10 as the 48 of Cody Griffin is starting to go backwards here, as he is one of the guys with the fresh tires. So maybe because of that, that's why he's kind of falling back. Maybe he's just trying to be smart here, knows that he was one of the few guys that took tires on that last pit stop, trying to save him a little bit, as he just dives it off into the corner and flips right back up on these guys and proves me to be a liar. But Tyler Hilton is one of the guys that took tires on that last pit stop. He is now your leader. Derek Paulson in second. Gordon Larson took tires on the last pit stop. He is in third place. And then you got the group of guys all the way back until you get to Cody Griffin. All those guys on fuel only. So tires working out, certainly for Tyler Hilton and Gordon Larson. Maybe the rest of the guys, like I said, just playing a little bit safe here, making sure those tires stretch out until they get to that next pit stop. But these guys that are out there that have only taken fuel so far in this race are now getting to about 50 lap old tires. So this thing is not going to handle the same way it did on lap 1.
Yeah, I mean, go down here, and if I show you, the pit lap where everybody has come in, and obviously everybody coming in there at lap 37, but the big numbers is at the actual pit time, Carl. So you can see the drivers that took tires being in the pits for 14, 15 seconds. Maybe 2 tire. Well, I don't think anybody's taking 2 tires, but I see a 10-second stop there, back towards the middle of the pack. But yeah, even Tim Lee he's making his way through there currently, and P number 10 on the bottom side now. But you know, he had a shorter pit stop as well. So just on that on just tires there, and these guys in the back.
Yeah, that front stretch wall, like I said, it creeps up on you very, very quickly, especially late in the run. Your car starts to get a lot more push, a lot more understeer, and it's going to want to push up out to that wall coming off onto the D oval on the front stretch as the 48 trying to make his way around on the outside here. And what's kind of interesting about this track, and maybe it's more car dependent, but I've always thought the high lines save tires more. I've always figured, you know, you're putting less wheel into the car, you should be scrubbing off those tires just a little bit more, but more often than not, I've seen the guys that run that middle to low line actually save tires better than the guys on the high line. I mean, why? Like, how does that make sense?
I'm not 100% sure, Carl.
I was hoping you gave me something.
No, I'm not a huge fan of riding the wall because I tend to want to stick to it like a magnet. And as you can see there, up in front of Chris Moreland, that we're riding on top of right now. You know, up in front of him, you're seeing the dust from, I believe it's Cody Griffith. No, right in front of him. So maybe Ty. Yeah, Ty. He's just hugging the wall here. I think I can go to his right front suspension and just see how close he gets to that wall. No, as I talk that, he's going to go to the bottom.
He's going to go to the bottom. Like,
can't call this one tonight. There's so many lines.
Oh, a little bit of dancing right there through the corner for Courtney. Great save there by the 99. That could have been disaster right there as Johnson gets right up behind him, but that was very close to another wreck there. But we've got a bit of a breakaway out front. Tyler Hilton and Gordon Larson have checked out from this field. Again, these are two of the guys that took tires on that last pit stop, so they are certainly loving life right now, out to about almost a second and a half before you get back there to third place in Derek Paulson. So a bit of a breakaway here on lap number 54, as we're still yet to hit that halfway mark. So a lot is going to happen yet in this race, and I mean, these guys, as close as they're battling here, we got a couple groups here. You see right here from third all the way back to 8th place, all kind of grouped together. So little kind of packs forming right now.
And it's yeah, pretty unique. and I don't know if they're packs. They're just like little swarms, because they're not in single file line at all. As we look back from Travala's car there, and you can just see he has 4 guys behind him, and they're in almost 4 different lanes.
It's almost like these guys are kind of holding their breath, holding their lines down the straightaways, nice and straight, nice and all together, and then just exhaling when they get to the corners and just spreading out. I mean, everybody goes to a different line through the corners, but a pass there by Grijalva as he moves himself up into the 4th position again over Robert Kahn, who is up into 5th. And it seems like every time we take a look at these guys coming off of turn number 4, there's smoke or dust coming up from a car just clipping that wall a little bit, and all it takes is clipping that wall wrong one time, and you could be damaging your wheel, damaging your car, and possibly getting yourself a meatball, and that's something you definitely don't want to do, especially now these guys are on a bit of a run.
Yeah, nice little run going on right now as they seem to settle down a little bit. I mean, it's still seeing some, some pretty big lean changes, from the top to the bottom, or the bottom to the top, or even going 3 wide right here. The 15 looking to get down to the inside of the 99, the 48 on that outside, so the 15's got to be careful. So, the 2x2 back here for
right on the back side of the 15 right there. Again, listen, I need 4 tires in Crisco. I need something to make my bumper in the back there a little bit more slippery. No giggity involved. I don't want no cars turning me sideways because of it. I mean, we've seen it a couple times now where bumpers just kind of get locked together, and we've seen guys go spinning. But it is the 0-2 of Tyler Hilton, the 0-0 of Gordon Larson, your first 2 cars right now. So I guess having that 0 in the front of your numbers is certainly the way to go here at this race. You see Moreland getting a little bit loose coming off that corner, so it's kind of a dance here. It seems like the guys that are running around on the top line through 3 and 4 are getting a little bit tail happy, getting a little bit oversteer coming off the corner. The guys going in low are coming off the corner and dealing with an understeer car pushing up towards the wall. So maybe the middle line, you get a little bit of both. You get a little bit of oversteer and understeer. It should equal out, right?
I mean, that's a pretty good guess. I mean, these cars, the next-gen cars, they do drive a little bit different, and really got to be careful with them, and they don't handle very well, obviously, when the tires go away. So, some of the drivers are just out there with just fuel only. The cars are probably starting to get a little tighter as the drivers that maybe had the new tires. What's going on there?
Just some close battling, almost touching through the corner. Nothing to look at here. We're still green, still moving along here. But yeah, another
me coming
close,
through. Beep beep.
Right there. Another one. I'm holding my breath just a little bit. But so far, so good here. Is we are coming up on the halfway mark, Jimmy.
Yeah, it looked like it was going to be, there for a little bit. It looked like it might be a little rough getting to the halfway mark, but the drivers seem to sort it out, as they know that now they are halfway through, and I'm sure some of these drivers are, hoping that fuel tank empties a little bit faster and probably would like a new set of tires. As you can see the leaders kind of just starting to walk away just a little bit from the pack. Being on the new tires, so it'd probably be, if I'm one of these drivers, up front here, I would, unless I want to battle anybody. If somebody decided to get a run and take the shot, then I just let them go. And right now, as a group of 3, I mean, you're looking at a great finish, so that you're gonna have a pit stop. So there's no sense of fighting with each other right now, in my opinion, and just kind of keep going and run your race, save your tires, maybe ride behind one another and save a little bit of fuel. And maybe if I'm Tyler Hilton in that O2, maybe I even slide back and let another car take the lead, as Gordon Larson is looking to use the high side here to get around the O2 of Tyler Hilton.
Well, the O2 is actually coming into the pits, so pit cycle starting here. I've seen a couple guys dive in. Mike Taylor, Hilton Young already in the pits. Now Tyler Hilton is going to come in, and he's going to bring in Robert Kahn as well as Garrett Johnston. So pit stop starting to commence here as we are past the halfway mark. And what I'm noticing is, for the guys that are running out front, I mean, best lap times right now are the mid 39 second range. So 39.57 is kind of the benchmark for fast lap times. And these guys are still running in the 40 second range. And not just for the guys that have the fresh tires. Gordon Larson has fresh tires from that last pit stop, running a 40.83 last time by. Derek Paulson ran a 40.81, and he hasn't taken tires yet. So I'm not sure how much tires are actually coming into play here, and how much they actually matter. Is there that the drop off doesn't seem to be too much right now, but certainly if you're in a battle with somebody or you're getting close to somebody, you want to have those tires. And maybe these guys that didn't take tires up to this point are sitting in the catbird seat with an extra set just in case something happens late in the race or you have to make one more pit stop. But majority of the field is in for pit stop here. Len McNeese still out there in the 84 leading right now. The 4 of DJ Mitzel in second. But you already see the 84 heading down pit road now, so he's going to surrender that lead. DJ Mitzel going to follow him into pit lane, so that is going to cycle through the field here for green flag pit stop. We got one, Jimmy.
All right, in the books, boys. Congratulations. Yeah, I'm sure they were thinking maybe they wouldn't get one in here tonight, but right now, as things kind of unfold, Tyler Hilton and Gordon Larson look like they should resume that lead, and still in close proximity, followed by Ty Marasco up there in the 1, and Garrett Johnson.
What I'm seeing as well is these guys last pit on lap 37, and they're already coming in right here on about lap 63. So, I mean, you're only getting a good maybe 25, 26 laps on fuel. I thought maybe the first guys coming in were taking a bit of a short pit to make it to the end, but clearly, since everybody comes in there, these guys are not going to make it to the end on one more pit stop. And the question is, how deep can you go into this next run here? Can you make it all the way that you're only going to need one more pit stop? You certainly don't want to have to come in 2 more times, so we'll see what these guys do. But your top 2 right now, Tyler Hilton, Gordon Larson once again, and now they are enjoying about a 5-second lead over Ty Marasco, who is in third because he is the first one to take tires, and looks like majority of the field taking tires on that pit stop, with the exception of Hilton and Larson in first and second, Johnston back there in fifth. Looks like Chris Moreland back in ninth, and Mike Taylor in 14th. Rest of the field taking tires and fuel, and probably feeling just a little bit better right now. And I would think a little bit more racing. You feel like you can start pushing here a little bit, but it is Hilton, Larson, Marasco, Kahn, and Paulson, your top 5.
And just kind of see what Marasco is doing, as he's gaining quite a bit of time there per lap, Carl, with the new tires, as he needs to make up some time to catch up to the leaders. So see when those tires kind of plateau, and if he can make that work and catch back up. Plenty of time left in this race, with Tyler Hilton out front over Gordon Larson, Ty Marasco, Robert Kahn, Derek Paulson, and for your top 5.
Well, that's kind of the big thing. I mean, it seems like these tires are really good for the first 5-10 laps, and then they just kind of plateau. And whether you have those new tires or the old tires, that they're right about the same lap times. I mean, right now the guys with the new tires are running high 39s, low 40s, where the guys that have the used tires are running high 40s, low 41s. So they're certainly gaining on them right now, but they kind of plateau pretty quickly. So you need to gain time very quickly, and you see Marasco doing that, as well as the rest of the field behind him. Robert Kahn, Derek Paulson, all gaining time on your leaders right now, but a little bit into the wall. I'm not sure if that was Hilton into the wall up front, but these guys really using up that turn 4 wall, Jimmy.
I mean, leave your mark. I mean, put a sponsor on your right front fender, and you'll be able to share your sponsorship with the track. So, he's getting really close out there, and the drivers are really trying to maximize their momentum. Right now you're with Ty as we go into 3, and you can see as he turns his car in, he's off the gas a little bit, gets that nose to turn, and he gets back on it, and he's going to float this car up to the wall, and then come down for kind of use that downhill momentum a little bit to try to sneak up on the cars in front of him. But he's definitely catching this group here, and it shouldn't be too much longer. I would expect him to go around them.
Yeah, catching up very quickly, and it's down to about a half a second now till he catches up to your 2 leaders. But he's brought along Robert Kahn, who is gonna play a little, maybe a little dirty there, as the lap. Was that a lap car? No, that was. Oh, as we got some more.
That's the 2
going in the wall there, and that was the 0-2 of Tyler Hilton. That looked like a pretty big impact, and man, cars getting pushed around and shoved around all over the place here. As we are on lap number 70. This time by, we'll have 50 to go, so still a lot of racing here, but a little brush on the wall right there for the 0-0 of Gordon Larson. New leader at the point is Derek Paulson, as they're fighting, but Paulson has got some new tires. He's going to easily make the pass to the inside, but now looked like it was 3 wide there. Robert Kahn going through the middle, but it is going to be Paulson at the front, Kahn in second, Ty Marasco in third, as they all make their way around Larson. And now we've got a bit of a 4-car breakaway at the front.
It's a little flip-flop there, as some of the drivers have made their way back to the front. So Derek Paulson, Robert Kahn, Ty Marasco, Gordon Larson, and Brian Dees in that 17 machine. make an appearance up here. Started up there in P number 4, only dropping down 1 spot right now, so still have a good run. Gravalo there in 6th, up 15 spots, still having a great run. Followed closely by the 2 of Todd Merkel. Len McNeese there in 8th, Tyler Hilton's in 9th, and Garrett Johnson back there in P number 10, up 12 spots. And the yellow is out at lap 72.
Looks like the one of Ty Marasco is involved in this one. Happened on the front stretch yet. It's already up ahead of these guys here.
Yeah, Marasco's gonna go for a roll here. We'll go ahead and kind of backtrack here just a little bit so you guys can see exactly what happened to that number 1.
And looks like Self-Imposed just going through the corner. And you see right there the back end not staying attached and getting him extremely sideways coming off the corner, has to fight it. Goes down into the grass. But unfortunately, he's still sideways as he hits that grass, and the grass isn't going to straighten you out that much. So he's going to fight it through the grass and unfortunately end up pretty hard impact in, at least I thought I seen, maybe I was looking somewhere else, but
He comes up eventually, I think.
Yep.
Right there.
And okay, yeah, right there. That I thought I did see some hard
Getting
impact right
caught
there.
by
Yeah,
the 19.
So that is a very, very destructive incident right there between Ty Marasco and the 19 of Cade Green. And Green certainly had his rough start to this race to begin with, and now he has that incident there. So we are under caution again here, and everybody coming back down into the pits. This is going to help these guys for sure make it to one more pit stop from here, as everybody will most likely come in top off and save that last set of tires if you still have them until the end. But looks like Garrett Johnston actually putting some tires on this pit stop, so maybe he hasn't taken any just yet, but he will take his set of tires right here and see what he can do a little bit deeper in the field. But it looks like Derek Paulson going to win the battle off of pit road. He's going to be your leader. Todd Merkel, another 2, not the 02 this time, it is the 2 of Todd Merkel, is going to be in second. He is up 13 spots from his start. Grijalva still up there. He is in 3rd place. Len McNeese in 4th. Robert Kahn will restart in 5th.
So not a green flag pit stop, but another pit stop cycle has been made, and you can look at the tower there. You can see some of the drivers still in there, probably getting some damage taken care of. Cody Griffin, Ty Marasco, Tyler Hilton, Ryan Allen still in there for quite a while. Cade Green, and a few of the others back in the pack. Their time is sitting there, and you can get some pretty good time here on a 2-mile track when you need to have some repairs done. So you do have Bike Right Out leaving the pits now, so a few of those cars are still sitting there on the pits, and they're going to end up going a lap down. But at least while they're on the caution, they're not losing lots of laps. You might just lose 1 or 2, and over the amount of cautions we've had here tonight, possibly a chance to maybe get those laps back.
Looks like the 1 of Marasco and the 02 of Hilton do get out there before the pace car gets around, and they should have enough time to catch the back of the pack here, as it looks like the 48 of Cody Griffin down pit road again, topping off on fuel here. But it is going to be Paulson at the point again, trying to break through for his first win on the season, and well, stop finishing second. I mean, it's certainly not a bad place to be and a good start to the season, but he wants to just crack through, get that win, and at least say that he can get it done, as he will restart here on the pole. Restart in first place here after starting on the pole here tonight. Led a bunch of laps here, but the field has certainly got shuffled up about, I don't know, about 20 times to this point. But he is back up at the front, Todd Merkel in second. So we will have a restart once again here at the completion of lap 75. So getting a little bit closer to the end here. Certainly not, officially go time yet. These guys are still going to have to make one more pit stop yet in the race. And I'm sure a lot of these guys will be contemplating taking tires or not. I mean, the tires haven't meant too much here. So maybe these guys will decide to let those tires just kind of sit in the pit lane and save them for next race, save a little bit of money. But it is up to Paulson right now to get on the gas first. He's on the loud pedal. We're back racing here at Auto Club.
Yeah, another great start there by the leader, to get out there. But, this track, sometimes you don't want to get out there too far. Or you can get out there really far so they can't get a run on you. But you see Graval, they're pulling up there in P number 2, so I think that's as high as he's been so far tonight, up 19 spots. Only one more spot to put that number 10 out in front in the P1 position, so maybe he can get himself a good run here and get a lap led during this race. But definitely been putting on a great show, and that 10 is on the drivers behind him are still searching for that right lane to be in to get the grip in the run.
There's no rhyme or reason for how we do the post-race interviews. Sometimes I'll take third and first. Sometimes I'll have Jimmy take third and first, and then the other person takes second place. But you best believe if Mr. Grijalva can finish in that top 3, wherever he finishes, that is going to be the one that Jimmy takes, just because I want to hear him pronounce that name one more time for this race. It's just been funny and different every time. I love it. But he is having a really great race here right now. Up 19 spots, started back there outside the top 20 and finds himself in to second place right now. So a good run right here.
A lot of screen time for the number 10. As
why you call him the number 10, Jimmy?
We'll just call him Mr. Joseph. Mr. JG. But no, it's been good so far, and putting on a great show. Obviously, they had a few incidents here tonight, probably something they weren't used to, but they took a week off, Carl. They have to knock the dust off again and to get this series underway. But there's just so much real estate for these cars to drive around here at Auto Club.
So I lost my SDK trying to bring it back here, but it is. It's been a rough race for these guys in the fact that we've had one kind of good long green flag run and had the green flag pit stops, but it's been a lot of just really. It seems like the car is not handling as well as I'm used to seeing it here at Auto Club. It seems like it's really getting either pushy or a little tail happy. It's never the same thing. We've seen guys push up into the wall coming off of turn 4. We've seen guys get wicked loose. We've seen the last caution right there with the one on Marasco getting really loose coming off of turn number 4. So maybe the car being just a little bit unpredictable for these guys here, and you see even right there a little bit of a waggle there coming off of turn number 2 for Chris Moreland. So these guys having a bit of a handful here tonight.
Yeah, I think the car is. I didn't get a chance to do any practice out there with the car to kind of see what the driver experience was going to be here tonight. It's definitely something that I try to do on most tracks, even if it's a short track. But just kind of experience what the drivers are doing out there. I think I ran here before with index jets, but I'm not 100% sure because that's just I haven't done many ovals in the past year or so. But they're definitely a fun car to drive, and they can be unpredictable. Some drivers like them, some don't. But obviously, with a 29 car field, there's plenty of drivers out here tonight that enjoy racing these things. And right now, they're putting out a good show. But right now, Len McNeese takes over that second place in that number 84.
Qualifying a lot of times you feel is very important, but clearly at a track like this and in a race like this hasn't been that important. As you take a look at the top 5 right now, and only 2 of them have started inside the top 10. Derek Paulson starting on the pole, and Robert Kahn starting in 8th place. The other guys in the top 5, Len McNeese started back there in 17th, Todd Merkel started back in 15th, and Joe Grijalva started back there in 21st. So clearly, either didn't have a good qualifying run, didn't put a time in, or what the case was. That was some pretty big impact right there. Not sure if that was the 28 of Khan trying to look back there and see who it was. It might have been, as Grijalva came up and they got together, hooked bumpers. Like I said, not enough Crisco in the last pit stop there for sure for those guys. But we are still running green right now, and it is pretty much nose to tail for the first 6, 8, 9 cars right now, as they have broken away. And the next car in 10th place, Eric Blunt, back there about a second from these guys, but good bounce back from Blunt. I mean, he's had some shaky moments here in this race, getting sent down pit road one time under one of the cautions. But these guys get a little bit more touchy-feely here on this run, so you gotta watch out, or another caution could be right around the corner.
Yeah, that 6 has become looks pretty good. So the crew has done their thing to get that 6 back into a position where you can at least get a pretty decent finish there for that number 6 Viagra machine. I followed him closely behind is Cody Griffin back there, and at number 48. I think he got them tires really angry there for a while, and it's gonna take a few laps for the cars to settle down. Once you heat the tires up like he did, it really can take 4, 5, 6 laps to get them back under control, and you can lose a lot of time in that many laps.
We are in the back part of this race now, lap 85 here of 120. These guys are going to be coming up on their last pit stop. I would assume you're probably going to see some guys come in maybe around the 90 lap mark to make their final pit stop. Maybe try and go a little bit deeper depending on what your strategy is going to be. I mean, will these guys come in here, take fuel only? Will they take 2 tires? Will they take 4 tires? I think if you're going to take any, I mean, maybe you gamble and take 2 tires, but I feel like your choices are either taking 4 or taking none. Sure, the 4 are going to feel better than 2, but 2 is not going to save you that much time in the long run. And I feel like if you're good enough to make the end of this race on 2, you may be good enough to make it on no tires and really save you a good 6 seconds. Because again, I mean, you take a look at the standings right now, and 5 seconds. Even 5-6 seconds here on the boards, you're looking at the difference between 1st and 17th. I mean, it's a huge margin, and that's what you have to think about. I mean, do you dare take tires? I mean, tires have been taking these guys about 14-15 seconds for their pit stop, where the fuel only has taken at maximum around 8-9 seconds. So, I mean, is it worth the tires that much? I don't know, Jimmy.
It depending on, your previous runs, and, you got some information now because you've had a few pit stops. So it's really, how's the car feeling to you? Is it super tight and you need to loosen it up? Is it too loose? So you obviously you need to take 4 tires so you don't make it any looser. I mean, an 84, just going up there, brushing the wall a little bit, not enough to kill the car, but enough to kind of check them up a little bit. Oop. 10 almost come up in front there. I think that was of the, who was that? 17. Nope. That Len McNeese? No, Len McNeese is
these guys are all over the place and about to be 3 wide again. Looks like the 00 is going to back out, but the top 8 cars right now under a blanket. And again, we're going to be close to pit stops, and no need to take it under caution. You don't have to worry about how much time it's going to save you or gain you on the track. We are under caution again here at Auto Club And I feel like this is close enough that these guys should be able to make it to the end.
Oh, Tim just snuck by that one. Blount and the 6 getting together here on lap 89.
The 6, we talked about him having a kind of a rough race, getting together there with Robert Kahn. Tim Lee, yeah, I guess he needs some Crisco on the outside of the car too. But he gets it by there, the 28's hard impact, and certainly not going to be back-to-back for Robert Kahn here in this race after that right there. And even slides into pit road, so that's probably going to end up being a penalty. And even if he was able to drive away from that, he'd still have to serve a penalty and be at the back of this field. But that car looks like it has some pretty heavy damage. The 6, not exactly doing too well either, and he's had a rough enough race here to begin with. Finally found his way back up to the top 10, and, well, he's not going to be in the top 10 anymore.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for those two drivers as they were having a pretty decent run. But now we're on lap 90 of 120. The question is, Carl, if we come in the pits and they make it the rest of the way?
Well, I'll tell you what, I mean, it seems like, well, as 00 going to elect to stay out here, Gordon Larson, he's not going to be able to make it to the end. We've seen these guys make it. I think the longest run being, about 23 laps is roughly anywhere from 23 to 25 under green. We haven't had many long green flag runs. We've really only had one green flag pit stop. We were close to a second green flag pit stop there. So, I don't know what the strategy would be here, but I think now that it's under caution, I think you're taking 4 tires. You may lose some time here in pit lane. You may lose some positions, but get you some new rubber and make a good run in here at the end. And that's what you see Derek Paulson doing there, giving up first place, dropping all the way back to 6th place at the time. But should be good to go to the end. Now, if I'm anywhere, even, back half of the top 10, if fuel is any question, I'm coming in, I'm topping off here 1-2 more times, whatever it is. I'm coming in with 2 to green and making sure I have as much fuel packed into that car as possible for what could be a run to 120, or it could be overtime as well. I mean, this thing is certainly nowhere close to being over yet. We still got 30 laps to go, and I don't know if these guys can make it to the end here, and maybe that's what Gordon Larson's thinking too. He's like, well, I'm gonna have to come into the pits again anyway, so I might as well just stay out here, try and stay up front, try and stay clean, and maybe he's still got to set tires in the bank as well. So interesting to see what these guys do from here on. We've seen the majority of the crew come in that time by, but we have got 29 laps to go this time by. It's going to be really tight on the fuel window. Lots to play for yet here at Auto Club. Not anywhere close to deciding a winner here, but thank you to everyone that has tuned in tonight for the race. It has been very interesting, and we've seen a bunch of different leaders. We've seen a bunch of different guys up at the front, all over the track, really, and these guys have literally been all over the track. But if you haven't done so yet, please hit that like and subscribe, and get yourself in tune to everything that's here and has to offer. Between VVR, we got a lot of other races throughout the week, and a lot of our nights we have 2 or even 3 shows on tap. So if you like racing, you like great racing, you're at the right spot here with CRN. So thank you for doing that. But we are getting close to the end here, Jimmy. We're under 30 laps to go now, so the last quarter of this race. Not necessarily go time just yet, but you're starting to think, now's the time to kind of feel out where this car is going to finish.
Yeah, I'm hoping that, I'm sure some of these drivers, with the lane selection that they have throughout the track here, is if they're picking out what works best for them and what's going to take them to the front here. And I think you're going to start seeing a little bit of people getting a little anxious. So hopefully this last caution isn't what brings out a row of cautions to the end of this race is they've been on a couple good stints here, a couple good runs, but we're going green again here as the double zero of Gordon Larson and as City Chevrolet will bring them down here to start the lap 93.
Good start here by the double zero. Looking for his first top 10 of the season so far has been a decent start, sitting tied for 14th in the points, but has yet to even clock a top 10. So been a good run here for the double zero, trying to hold on and stay up there, certainly to finish this thing out. Already got a battle for the lead going on into turn number 3. Down the inside, Brian Dees looking for the lead. Still going to be the double zero at the top, getting a good run off the corner. And D's going to fall back in line. Ray Courtney up there towards the front. I haven't talked about him too much in this race, but he finds himself now back up inside the top 10, inside the top 5, inside the top 3, as he is trying to make his way to the front of this race. But the man that we watch in most of this race, Derek Paulson, back out there. He's got those fresh tires. Big wobble there by the 48. But good save by Cody Griffin. And now the 2 of Todd Merkel going to look to the inside. So these guys are dodging and bobbing and weaving as we're getting late here at Auto Club.
Yeah, like I said, there's just so much real estate, and you really think maybe you might have more room. And if you're one of those drivers that doesn't have ER or triple setup, it really does become difficulty, like looking to your immediate right and left, and it can make choose a bad decision. And a lot of drivers getting in drafts, being able to kind of go through, maybe not getting the run, the car gets tight, and then they look to go around. But a battle here between the 10, 15, 48, and 98 slides back one spot to kind of pull back out of that those lines there that are creeping up on him.
Yeah, I think he backed out a little bit to stay out of trouble, and he just backs himself into a 3-wide situation right there. As man, these guys are putting on a show. I mean, it's amazing. You see the track, you see the seams in the track. You can easily make this thing 5 wide if you wanted to. But even when these guys are 2 wide, it seems like there's a magnet. It seems like these guys, the cars find each other. The Jurassic Park, life finds a way. The cars find a way to find each other. And it's amazing. But hopefully we get this thing all the way to the end now on green and see all the different strategies that come into play. We've got 25 to go, 24 at the line here. Derek Paulson back out to the lead.
Oh, no.
Gordon Larson in second, but we are under caution again and again, happening towards the front of the pack.
And Ray Courtney being involved in that one here. We'll go back and go back up front here with Ray Courtney getting bounced off the wall into the 2, sends him sideways into the 48. 48 bounces off the wall. Everybody starts seeing the smoke. You can see the 57 getting clipped there by the 2, taking them down to the infield.
Yeah, it looked like Ray Courtney just got really, really loose off the corner, and not much you can do when you're that loose. And unfortunately, it sends him down into the 2 of Todd Merkel, and they collect the 57 there of Joshua Divers as well. So it's going to bring us under another caution, and be real interesting to see if anybody comes into the pits here. If I'd be interested to see if the double zero here of Gordon Larson comes into the pits, if he can now make it to the end. I think all these guys, if they would come in here, are definitely good to go to the end. But if anybody again is questioning the fuel, now it's time to come in and just save it. Even if you give yourself a 10-place grid penalty essentially by coming into the pits here, it's better than running out at the end and losing 15.
Yeah, they don't want. I mean, there's still quite a few drivers on the lead lap here. I'll go ahead and pull up the total tower here, and you can see that there's still 20 cars on the lead lap. Ty Marasco being in the pits right now, and it still has time to get back out there. With the pace car coming around out of turn 4, but you're gonna see some people come in, and it's gonna be a lot.
The field. it's gonna be the field the way it looks. It looks like we may have one staying out, and I think that is looks like Michael Pratt staying out there to get a lap back, as he was 6 laps down, and actually he was the lucky dog the way it looks, so that is why he's going to stay out there. But the rest of the field are coming in, and this should be the last pit stop unless guys decide to keep those tires yet, if they still have them. Maybe one last pit stop, but topping off on fuel here, fuel and go here.
Whoa.
For the entire field as it gets a little close coming off of pit road, but it's going to be Derek Paulson, Len McNeese, Joe Grzelva, Garrett Johnston, and Cody Griffin, your top 5.
A few cars still sitting in the pits, probably taking some of that optional repair that might be needed for a position or two on the track here, coming as the race comes to an end, as we only have 22 laps remaining.
Yeah, I mean, top 15 came out right away. Joshua Divers taking a little bit more time in the pits, but from Ray Courtney on down to Todd Poston from 17th all the way down. Well, it looks like we have a few guys missing here. It looks like maybe only a top 23 still in play here tonight, as 24th Ryan Allen, 25th Cade Green, and 26th Todd Poston. I don't think they're coming back here in the race here. And even Tim Williams, 28th. Okay, yeah, I'm looking at the wrong one there.
Two-tire stop by the 00, Carl.
It's, I mean, for how much these cars have been a little bit sketchy coming off the corners, getting a little loose, it's a bold strategy, Cotton. I mean,
I know he was out there for a little bit longer. He didn't come in, and so he was out there, but still up front. But if he took 2 tires, it's going to be a bright one. And you see back there in P13, Brian Dees with 14-second pit stop, and Tim Lee also with a 14-second pit stop, which would lead me to believe that they probably took 4 tires. So we'll see if those 2 drivers can make their way through the field, getting them netting them a very good finish here tonight, as we still have 21 laps remaining. And when the pace car comes around at this time, as they work their way down the backstretch, we will have 20 laps to go.
Field getting a little bit smaller, but still have a good amount of cars out here on the track, and really a good amount of them is still on the lead lap as well. So a lot of guys still in play for this win, but very interesting to see some of these guys taking the tires. This is, I would think, the last of the tires for everybody here. I don't think anybody has any tires left. If you do, it's definitely a bold strategy to hang on to them now, as we're down to 20 laps to go in this race. But be interesting to see how much ground the guys like Brian Dees and Tim Lee can make up with those 4 tires, and even back there with the 00 of Gordon Larson taking 2 tires. But we are getting ready to go back green. Derek Paulson, your leader, is on the loud pedal, and we're racing here again at Auto Club. Hopefully we take this thing to the end on green and see how all these strategies play out. But right now, Derek Paulson is trying to get out and run away from these guys.
He wants to get away from all the other drivers, looking to take that lead away. But Joe's not giving him any room. Going to try to get that run and try to make his way back up there. He falls behind the 84 of Len McNeese, and we've seen him run up there for a couple laps. But tagging, just kind of scraping the wall just a little bit, making that 84 slide back. We've seen the 48 of Cody Griffith up there already as he started up front. What's going on? Somebody's down in the pits. 12. Chris Moreland.
What a save there. That was like 6 saves and 1 for Chris Moreland. It's going to put him at the back of the pack after being up there in the top 5. And that was a wicked slide coming off the corner. And yeah, I mean, that almost looked like netcode maybe with the wall there. I mean, it didn't look like he got that close to the wall, but it definitely shot him off and into the grass, and gotta pay him for some landscaping services right there. But out front, it is still Derek Paulson, the Len McNeese, and the 84 trying to make a run here, as he is in 2nd place right now. Grzelva in 3rd. DJ Mitzel now up into 4th place. Cody Griffin in 5th. Gordon Larson is battling for 6th place right now with Garrett Johnston. Then you got Brian Dees, Hilton Young, and Mike Taylor, your top 10.
Pretty everywhere.
3 wide down the backstretch once again. And once again, I mean, you got to start feeling for Mike Taylor. I mean, it feels like he's trying his best to try and stay out of bad situations, and it just seems like 3 wide just constantly keeps finding him, and he's constantly in the middle too. Like he can't get a break and be on the inside or the outside. No, he's always in the middle. But so far it's been working out. I mean, I haven't, knock on wood, seen that Honey Nut Trios machine involved in too much of anything here in regards to the incident. So he's doing a good job of at least staying out of the incidents, but what a race here for the 98, as he is battling just outside the top 10 right now in 11th place, side by side for 12th here, as Mike Rideout and Chris Schuchler are doing battle here in 12th and 13th. Derek Paulson, your leader, 16 laps to go now, as a bit of a breakaway here for the first 3 cars, as Paulson, Grzywa, and McNeese are breaking away from this field just a little bit. DJ Mitzel in 4th is about 0.8 of a second behind this pack, so these guys definitely got the foot down to the floor right now, trying to run away with this thing, trying to get it done probably as quick as possible here, and not have to worry about another restart, another thought of, you know, coming into the pits and topping off in case we have a green-white checker. Is very close there with the 48 of Griffin, as he's going to go to the inside here of Mitzel in a battle for 4th.
48 trying to make it work, and you know, we've seen 48 you know, get pretty aggressive and, you know, slideways these things to a few corners, but able to keep grip this time by as he takes that position away from for DJ Mitzel.
Speaking of grip, how about the man that just went from the outside to the inside? The 17 of Brian Dees. Remember those guys that came in and took 4 tires? Well, Brian Dees was one of them. He is up to 4th place. He is on a mission, and he is looking to get to the front of this thing before these 15 laps check off. Now only 14 to go this time by, and he looks like he's going to end up bringing Cody Griffin along with him. But Brian Dees certainly has got a fast number 17 right now. He's running that high line, keeping all those revs in the car. Almost an incident behind him as gets wicked loose coming off of turn number 2. But a little bit of a 2-car tandem here with Brian Dees and Cody Griffin trying to catch these top 3 guys.
Yeah, he's got to get up there. I mean, he's got 14 laps and some little bit newer tires. And just trying to get up there and give himself a shot to a podium. And you see up there as the leaders will be coming up on a lap car. I believe that's the 2 of Todd Merkel. So yeah, he's up there by himself. He's going to head down to below the apron there and just let everybody kind of go on by. Yeah. That too has plenty of damage on the front end. I mean, it's still sitting at 21st, so, you know, with some of the other drivers out of the race, I mean, this isn't a bad call. And, you know, we talked about winning a championship, you know, on your worst races, and you know, this could be that race for Todd Merkel.
We're down to 12 laps to go already, as the time is definitely starting to tick away pretty quickly here late in the race. It is still Paulson out front, Grzywa in second, McNeese falling off the back of this train here a little bit. He's back there about 0.9 of a second behind. Brian Dees another 0.7 of a second behind in 4th. And he's trying to make use of those new tires as quick as possible, running at the same lap time as your leaders last time by. And that's not good enough. He needs to be faster than the leaders, but Paulson has been fast all night, and Grzywa, once he got to the front, he's been hanging up there in the top 5 for a majority of this race after starting, excuse me, back there outside the top 20. So the 10 certainly has some speed in the car, and he is not letting Paulson get away.
No, he's not, and it's probably smart. If I was Joe, I'd be doing the exact same thing. We've got 10 laps to go. That's still 20 miles, and a lot can happen, and especially if you're trying to burn up your tires, trying to get around somebody, that they can just take it right back. with so many laps remaining. You just want to keep them in sight. Stay in that tow or that draft. Follow them around, and they should have enough fuel. But if you don't have to burn up your tires, maybe you're pushing that guy in front of you. But you see right now the 17 of Ryan Dees will make the pass here to take away Pete number 3 away from the 84 of Len McNeese.
10 laps to go, but far from over, and Brian Dees is on a mission here. Gets himself into 3rd place and has run similar lap times to the leaders here. So not losing any ground, but not gaining much ground either. He finds himself now in 3rd. We'll see if he can do any more damage, making his way up to the front, as he is... he started up there in 4th place, so I mean he's certainly got the speed as these other guys up front, but he's got to find some kind of time here, and gaining a little bit of time that time by, but 9 laps to go is going to go by very quickly if he can't eat into this about 2-second gap to the leaders.
And this is back here with Tim Lee taking Pete number 9 away from Eric Blount, as Tim had one of the longer pit stops as well, so which would lead you to believe that he's got some fresher tires on that machine. So good job there for Tim right now, as he is in the top 10.
8 laps to go now, and bumping and banging between the 48 and a 57. Definitely some elbows out right there, but both of the guys will survive to drive another lap here, as Divers now moves himself into 6th place, taking over from the 48 of Cody Griffin, as he's trying to make his way up through the field here, involved in the last incident right there, and definitely making his way back up through the field here, and wants to try and get a top 5 yet, and he's riding the back bumper of Mitzel, and it's certainly in play.
Yeah, it's a pretty comeback, as he was involved in an earlier incident during the race as well.
It is still Derek Paulson at the front, now out to about 3/4 second lead over Grzywa in 2nd. Another 1.5 back to Brian Dees in 3rd place, as each of these 3 guys are kind of in a race of their own right now. Another 0.7 back to Len McNeese in 4th place. DJ Mitzel has got his hands full with the 57 of Joshua Divers, as they battle for 5th and 6th right now. Dropping back a little bit here, the 48 of Cody Griffin showed a lot of speed early on, but got involved in a few incidents, and you can see the Lowe's machine is a little bit rough around the edges right now, and he finds himself still inside the top 10, but not battling for the lead like he was earlier in the race. The 00 of Gordon Larson, 2 tires don't seem to be working as well as he wanted them to, but still gaining on the 48 here, as he is in 8th place. The 24 of Tim Lee making a nice comeback, as he is the other one that took 4 tires on that last pit stop. Now finds himself inside the top 10 in 9th place right now, but 7th place is still certainly on the table for the 24. And then rounding out your top 10, you got Eric Blunt, the 6, once again finding his way into the top 10. I feel like, again, Eric Blunt has just been involved in so much here tonight, but he's clearly got speed. I mean, he finds his way back up there again. Big battle by this 00. As the 24 of Tim Lee now to the inside, looking for position number 8 here. As we are getting close to the end here. 5 laps to go, and now 4 to go. Derek Paulson in front. The lead getting a little bit smaller, back to 0.6 seconds to Grzywa. It's still another second behind is Brian Dees, so Dees certainly had the tires to catch himself back up into the 3rd position, but has not been able to make much ground on your leaders from there. And you see the time difference between Paulson and Grzywa those last few laps, and Grzywa gaining a little bit back on that last lap, but really just gaining back what he lost the previous 2 laps. Brian Dees not gaining anything those last 5 laps, and actually losing a little bit, as we are down to 3 to go here at Auto Club. It seemed like it took us a little bit to get here, but we're about to crown a winner here tonight, Jimmy.
Yeah, and only 3 short laps, less than 6 miles to go for Derek Paulson, and he's got a good substantial lead. And not that the 10 can't make a run, but it really is going to be difficult with it doesn't sound like much, but 0.7 on the track, you can see how far it actually is, and with only really 2 laps remaining here.
The team of MF Racing Designs has certainly had their fair share of good finishes here. Obviously, points leader, winner of the first race. Then you got Derek Paulson finishing second in the first 2 races here, and I believe they finished top 3, if not top 4 or 5 in the first race there at Atlanta. But looking to crown another winner here tonight, and Derek Paulson, who has come up very, very close the last 2 races, but just not enough. He is now down to about 3 miles left to go to claim his first victory in the official race number 3 here, as again, these guys not running Phoenix last week, taking the week off, just didn't want to put anybody behind the 8 ball with iRacing having some updates and some of the VR systems having some issues. Didn't want to put anybody out that had a chance at a good finish, a good run at the championship, anything like that. So I think making the right call last week. The guys did run Phoenix just as a fun race, and again, sounds like it'll come back into play a little bit later in the season, but this is race number 3 here tonight. And Derek Paulson looking to exercise some demons after the first 2 races, coming in second at Atlanta, coming in second at Las Vegas. Not coming in second tonight. The 16 is tasting the sweet taste of victory lane here tonight. Your winner here at Auto Club, Derek Paulson, in the 16. At the 10 of Joseph Grijalva coming in second, and I'll let you boys out there decide on who's going to be the interview of Mr. Joe in second place. And then Brian Dees going to come home in third place. A good run there with those new tires. Len McNeese bringing it home in 4th. Joshua Divers, another one, just battle tested tonight and coming back and finishing inside the top 5. DJ Mitzel in 6th. Tim Lee making those tires to good use, coming in 7th. Gordon Larson, Eric Blunt, and Chris Schuessler rounding out your top 10. So Jimmy, it took a little bit here to finally wrap this thing up here at Auto Club, as the drivers were certainly a little racy, and I think really the car was maybe a little bit more racing than these guys kind of wanted it. And it was definitely a little bit tail happy for some. It was not fun coming off of turn 4. We've seen a lot of guys either get up into the turn 4 wall or get a little bit loose coming out, and seen a few guys taking some lawn maintenance classes down on the front stretch. But Derek Paulson was definitely a strong car tonight. Starts on the pole and led a bunch of laps here tonight. Had to fight through this traffic a couple times, but I think at the end of the day, it doesn't really happen as often as it should, but I think the fastest car won tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've seen signs of other drivers really drive some great lines, and was able to get out and get some laps led, and just wasn't able to maintain and hold that. And I think with the cautions and the pit stops, and we're kind of rounding everybody up to get something done here tonight. Just kind of fell back just a little bit, and maybe burning up their tires a little too much to kind of hold out for that last little short sprint that we had there at the end. But yeah, Derek Paulson definitely was the one to watch tonight. Came away the winner here, followed by Joseph Grijalva.
Work on it. I got one interview, and then you're bringing them in, Jimmy.
It's just Joseph. That's it. I don't care.
You're on a first name basis now, all of a sudden.
First name basis. So, anyways, and then Brian D there in third place, Len McNeese, and then Joshua Divers. There's so many good drivers out there tonight, and constant battles throughout the field. People were moving up and down. You can see a lot of the finishers here. They started towards the back. Joe was up 19 spots, finishing in second, and then you had Len was up Len McNeese was up 13. Chris Schuessler, he finished back in P number 10 with 17 spots to start. Even Ray Radford finishing in 18th, he finished up 10 spots. So that's like, big steps for some of those drivers that maybe thought they were going to not have such a good night. And, because they were starting in the back and then, finishing pretty solid. This is a 29 car field, Carl. And, to finish, 10th, 12th, even 18th is a pretty solid run.
Well, nothing to slight the drivers that moved up that many spots, but I think a big help for them was certainly all the issues that happened mainly at the front of the pack. I mean, a lot of times we see the cautions come from the mid pack or the back pack from guys battling and just getting a little too close to each other, but most, if not all the cautions here tonight were caused by cars inside the top 10 and could have potentially taken out guys that had a chance at the win here tonight. But it's time to bring in these boys for their interviews, and certainly well-deserved. And the first one we're going to bring in here tonight is going to be the driver of the 17, Brian Dees. And Brian, you were able to save and bank a set of tires there for that last run. And I got to say, I mean, it seemed like that car was on rails at the end of the race. You're running that high line, making a bunch of passes, making the car kind of stick wherever you wanted to. But you made your way up to third and just maybe didn't have enough to run those guys down in the front. Do we have you, Brian?
Can you hear me now?
Hey, there he is.
There we go. Sorry, my mic muted. I didn't realize it. Yeah, the way the timing worked out on that final caution might have probably not the best for me. I was looking to run a few more laps before we got that final caution with just a couple of laps. I don't know exactly how many laps it was, but it wasn't enough to really make a difference and probably hurt me when I did take tires. Everybody else just took fuel, so it dropped me back to, I think, like 13th. But having those fresh tires on for that last run was definitely helping me out, being able to run that high line, make some passes, and get back up towards the front. But again, the other side of that is running that high line. You burn them up pretty quick, so by the time I got to third, didn't really have much left to run down those other two.
Yeah, it seemed like the fresh tires were really good on the first, like maybe 5-10 laps, and maybe even a second faster than guys that didn't take a pit stop. But once they plateaued, they kind of just all evened out. No matter if you had tires or not, you were all kind of running the same lap. Was that the case in the car?
I don't know. I don't really look at all the timing the way you guys probably can, so kind of hard for me to say. It did seem like kind of they plateaued a little bit. It was actually kind of strange. In practice, it seemed the older the tires got, it got really tight. And then we got to the race session, and it was loose, and we were skating around all night. So I'm not sure exactly what that was all about. Maybe with the iRacing oval refresh, the different line, the track heating up where people were mostly running. So that might have had something to do with it, getting us a little bit loose with the track heating up. But yeah, it kind of, I guess it kind of evened out after a little while.
Well, yeah, you mentioned the car getting loose, and it seemed like turn 4 was kind of the bugaboo for everybody. It was either getting tight and guys were pushing up into the end of the wall, or just the back end wanting to snap around coming off the wall, and coming off of turn 4 there. Were you having some trouble off of turn 4 yourself? I mean, it seemed like that's where everybody was really having trouble.
I actually said to my teammates in the practice session, turn 4 wall, or the wall off of turn 4 is not going to be my friend by the end of the night. And I think it got me, I think only twice, so that's not too bad. One time it gave me some rear end damage. I think it was maybe like 8 seconds worth of damage. Finally, with pit stops, got it all fixed, and then like 5 laps later, I hit the wall again.
No, that figures exactly.
I'm like, oh, great.
Well, either way, you find your way up to third at the end of this race. Do you feel like that's kind of a victory here after it's kind of a gauntlet here for you guys here tonight?
Yeah, I feel pretty good about that. Definitely a bonus that my teammate there, Paulson, was able to take home the win. So congrats to him. He's also the one that got me into this league, so I joined a little bit late. I think I joined the second race of the season. So come out of here with a third. I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah, exactly. We don't see it at Atlanta, but you came away with 2 top 5s now, 5th place at Las Vegas, now a 3rd here tonight. So good start to your season here. We'll see if you can keep it going here. But before we let you go here tonight, anybody you want to give a shout out to or thanks to?
Yeah, definitely got to thank the league sponsors. I got my little cheat sheet here. Gold Line Guardians, Hilton Crafts and Design, Fort Worth Screen Printing. Also got to thank my team sponsor, Michael Falk at MF Racing Designs. If you're looking for a paint, check them out on Facebook. And also got to thank you guys at Core Racing Network, making us look good every week. Appreciate it.
Well, we appreciate you guys out there. It's been a fun season so far. So we'll let you go celebrate with the team, and we'll talk to you maybe next week.
Hopefully next week. I don't even know where we're at, but fun league so far, so definitely looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Well, congrats on the 3rd, and we'll let you go.
Thank you.
That is your 3rd place finish here tonight, the 17 of Brian Dees. 2nd place here tonight, driver of the number 10. Jimmy, why don't you go ahead and bring in Mr. Joe?
Hey, Joseph, Jimmy and Carl up in the booth. You copy?
Hey, Jimmy, I got you.
Hey, I'm not going to try to butcher your name too much, but I've been doing it all night.
It's fine. It's fine. So
what's the best way to say it?
You can say it. Just think the J as an H, because in Spanish or in Spanish language, the J makes an H sound. So you can say Grijalva.
Grijalva?
There's a B in there too.
Yeah.
Your name's just Joe, all right? So we'll just call you Joe.
Yeah, I'll take Joe too.
You're the coffee man. You be a hot cup of Joe. But no, great run there tonight. As you were on fire tonight, you were able to gain 19 spots tonight. That is quite impressive. Did you have some qualifying issues where you just, or did you elect to start that far back in the pack?
I just suck at qualifying, and honestly, I just suck at these big tracks like Michigan and Auto Club qualifying, Daytona, Dega, Atlanta. All those kind of drafting tracks. I'm really bad at them, even more so. But it was pretty hectic starting in the back. It was more just being patient, I think.
I mean, yeah, it was hectic. It was very hard to sometimes watch as there was so much action throughout the pack. I mean, there was 4 wide, 5 wide, and if you got a certain angle, you looked like you were like 30 wide. It was quite impressive, and obviously you plagued a little bit with some cautions, and did that kind of play into your pit strategy going into coming towards the finish of the race?
I kind of had my pit cycles already planned out, more or less, and the cautions, for whatever reason, they fell in line. It kind of broke up, and then we got more, and it fell back to where it was. So it didn't really help or hurt. We just ended up stagnant there. But I would have liked to have some green flag runs, honestly, because these restarts over and over are pretty rough.
Yeah, everybody up there trying to fight for that prime real estate of the front row, or trying to get the lead. And I know from future or past races, from myself racing here, and you can have somebody on your outside, and your virtual spotter won't call them until you get to a certain distance. And when you're moving at the speed that you guys are driving, it's like almost like a blink of an eye. So but either way, you walk away tonight with a 2nd place finish. Next week, you're off to a lot shorter place, the Milwaukee Mile. So how do you feel about going into next week?
I like those kinds of tracks. They're a little tricky, and I think Milwaukee's flat, like New Hampshire. Am I thinking of that track? Is it the same track?
Yes.
Right. So those are tracks I really excel at, where the banking to help you. There's no draft to equal you out. It's all driver. And I really love those tracks, so that's good to know. I didn't know what was next, so thanks for letting me know. I'm excited for that one. It's going to be good.
Well, anything to keep making your night, but you definitely walked away here with a great finish at a great track, and very challenging, as there's many different lines, and you can't defend all the lines at all. But you walk away here tonight with a 2nd place. So from CRN, congratulations, and we'll give you a little bit of time for any shouts or thanks that you may have.
Absolutely appreciate you guys. First and foremost for putting it on, putting the show on, letting us watch it. Dad, he's pretty excited. I don't know if you heard him, but he's always supporting me and my racing habits, whether it's good or bad. And so far, I've been in a good streak with this league, placing top fives, top tens. So we're inching closer there. A good battle with Paulson. Also, congrats to him too. He putting the car in the right places, making it tough, and that's what it's about. It's not supposed to be easy. So congrats to him. And of course the car sponsor, BKA, El Paso Motorsports Kart Racing Club. It's our local karting club. Here is what my background is: flat surface road racing. So look them up on Facebook. Give them a like, spread the love there, and make the exposure there. So it's all good. Club here, include family, friends, all that stuff. Everybody's welcome. So I'd appreciate everybody if they can help us grow.
Yeah, anything to support the local groups, especially things that kind of bring racing groups together, and you guys all become a family. So yeah, give them a BK a shout out there. You heard them. Head over to their Facebook page and give them a like on their page and spread the wealth. But again, Joe, just congratulations, and hopefully we'll see you next week up here in the booth at Milwaukee.
Hopefully spot early ahead there, but we'll hopefully see you guys.
Roger that. We'll talk to you later, Joe.
See you.
That is second place finisher here tonight, driver of the 10, Joseph Grijalva. Now we know how to say it officially, as I was messing it up myself. But either way, let's not talk about that. It's you that messed up the names. But anyway, no reason to mess this guy's name up, as he's been in the booth with us for all three races so far. And finally, he gets the last interview. Your winner here tonight, driver of the 16, Derek Paulson. Derek, it was kind of a crazy race, and a lot of times we see races that have quite a few cautions. The cautions coming from the mid pack or the back pack, guys just kind of getting together. But most of the cautions here tonight coming from inside the top 10, sometimes the top 5. How crazy was it? How was that? In your mind, were you trying to stay up front and just avoid the incidents as much as possible?
Yeah, track position here actually means a little bit, especially with this car, because it's just so aero dependent, and if you get behind somebody, I mean they basically drag you around. So when you're leading, it's hard to pull away from anybody. And some guys were probably more aggressive than they probably should have been. I think that's what most of the cautions were. It is hard to pass, so you can't really blame them for that. But yeah, I was just trying to stay in front of it as much as I can, and finally luck landed my way tonight.
So how was the car handling for you? It seemed like a lot of guys were having issues. Obviously, turn 4 was kind of the big bugaboo, and I even mentioned in pre-race that it's a corner you need to watch out for. But it seemed like a lot of guys having some issues, and quite a few guys just getting wicked loose in the back end, really trying to snap around on the exit of turn 4. It seemed like it was just kind of extra loose and a little bit of a handful here tonight.
What's funny about that is during practice, the longer you ran, the track got really tight. Well, once we got everyone out on track, I got some rubber down. Yeah, coming off the corners, you had to be careful. The longer we ran, the looser it seemed to get. And with the setup we were running, you would have thought it would have done the opposite, because, the car was a little tight, but yeah, it certainly was. You kind of had to pedal it off the corner. I think there was one time where I even left smoke behind me when I got a little loose off of 4. I think I only did that once. And yeah, you just had to be patient and kind of pedal your way out of the corner. And yeah, it actually, to me, I thought the setup felt pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, it's a setup that's a little loose. Sometimes makes it for a fun race and a little bit of race of a car if you're ready for it, and if it's not going to catch you off guard. But yeah, see, I don't think you were the only one given the stripe there to the exit of turn 4. I think everybody probably touched it at one point or another coming off of there. But you get it done here tonight, second in the first 2 races, and then a winner here tonight. Obviously, your teammate Dalton not here in attendance, and Brandon Mifford there behind you in third, not here as well. So a really good points night, and obviously best place to be up here out front. So what was it about Auto Club that finally got you to the top step here?
Well, this track in general has been very good to me on the service for years. For some reason, the way I drive suits this track. It's almost like a Michigan. Michigan I do fairly well at. This track I do fairly well at. This is the first time I've ran this car for a full season. I got to play with it a little bit, but most of my leagues that I do, we don't use this car. So this is kind of new to me. And I was lucky. It felt good. And it ran well for me tonight. And again, with only 2 tire changes at 125 laps or 120 laps, that suits my driving style. And yeah, it panned out. I am pretty happy with how everything went tonight.
Well, you got 150 laps next week as you guys head to the Milwaukee Mile. Certainly a different track than you guys have touched so far. I mean, you have the the 1.5 mile tracks that you went to the first couple of races, and then the big 2 mile here, but down to a mile flat track next week at Milwaukee Mile. How do you feel about that one coming up?
That's going to be different. I necessarily don't care for flat tracks. I don't have quite as good luck. We had some cautions here tonight, and I'm going to put it on record that I bet you we have a few next week. Just hopefully people race with, patience, and hopefully we can put on a good show for you guys next week.
Well, the first couple races were definitely a great show, and it's always nice when you run a caution free. But the cautions got to group everybody up here tonight, and it probably was a little bit more hectic for you and a little bit more stressful, the fact that you had to have that many restarts. But you get it done here tonight. You grab your first win on the season and grab the points lead as well. So congrats on all the success here tonight. Who do you want to give a shout out to or thanks to before we let you go?
I got a shout out to Goldline Guardian, Hilton Crafts and Design, and Fort Worth Screen Printing. I got to thank a shout out to you guys up there in the booth. We really appreciate you having both of you guys on board this season. I got to thank Tim and the admins here. I got to thank the racers that showed up. I know it wasn't, it was a little more caution heat tonight than what we've seen the first 2, but all in all, with this car, it's kind of given because you're on top of each other. But I got to thank MF Racing Designs, who's got the paint on me. And I got to thank my teammates from MFRD, Ty and Brian. And just to let you guys know, I will be missing in 2 weeks. So I will not be around in 2 weeks. So I had to get as much points as I can the next couple of weeks so I don't lose too many when I'm gone.
Well, it sounds like you need to try and figure out Milwaukee Wild one way or another and maybe try and go back-to-back here before you miss Chicagoland. But either way, take some time to celebrate here tonight. And I think all you boys over at MFRD should be having a good celebration so far, as you guys have been pretty dominant early on in the season. So congrats, and maybe we'll talk to you again next week.
Sounds good.
That is your winner here tonight, the 16 of Derek Paulson. And I mean, so far this season, Jimmy, we've seen 3 races and dominated performances by your winners each time. I mean, at Atlanta, we've seen Delta Kill Road lead a bunch of the laps, takes the win. Las Vegas, we've seen Robert Kahn lead a bunch of the laps, takes the win. Here, it may not have seen as cut and dry, but I mean, Derek Paulson here led a bunch of the laps, takes the win. So I guess easiest way to win is lead from the front here, but it was certainly not that easy for Derek here tonight with all the cautions and just having to fight through the pack a couple times, having to figure out what was the right strategy. And that's probably the toughest thing for these drivers when you get all these cautions is figuring out that strategy.
Yeah, figure out the strategy, making sure your lines are working for you, you're saving your tires, with only a 50% tank, making these drivers pit a few times. Are they stretching out a lap or 2 of fuel? Are they drafting? But these drivers are competitors, and they get out there and they want to, get the best finish as possible. And you heard Derek, he's going to miss a few weeks, so obviously trying to get as many points as possible. This is the place to do it. Obviously, a win, it's more times than not, usually the pole sitter for some reason doesn't win, but he won here tonight. So good job on Derek and the rest of the field here. Plenty of great racing, but we need to run down the list here of the drivers of where everybody finished, because we need to recognize all those fantastic drivers that showed up. 29 drivers on the field tonight, and your winner overall is going to be the number 16 of Derek Paulson, and then the number 2 of Joseph Grahalova, and then Brian Dees, Len McNeese, Joshua Divers, DJ Mitzel, Tim Lee, Gordon Larson Jr., Eric Blount, Chris Schussler back there for your top 10, and Mike Rideout, Cody Griffin, Garrett Johnston, Mike Taylor, Chris Moreland, Ray Courtney, Hilton Young, Ray Radford for your top 18, and then we still have a few more drivers to call out, as Tyler Hilton was in 19th, Ty Marasco in 20th, Todd Merkel in 21st, Michael Pratt in 22nd, Robert Kahn, Ryan Allen, Cade Green, Tim Williams, Brian Rainville, Todd Poston, and Craig Lehrman. So 29 great drivers out here. So if you're out there, or you just happen to be stopping by CRN and you kind of enjoyed the next gen cars, look up VVRs. They got a pretty extensive schedule that, like we talked about on the 5th, next week will be the Milwaukee Mile, and then they will head over to Chicagoland, Texas, Kentucky, Dover, Kansas, Michigan, Charlotte, Worldwide Technology, some Watkins Glen, New Hampshire, Nashville, Pocono, my local track, Indianapolis Motor Speedway, Homestead, Miami, Darlington, Atlanta, and Iowa, throughout the rest of the season. That'll take you all the way out to September 19th. So plenty of racing to go on here at VVR.
Once again, if you like what you've seen here tonight with CRN, make sure you hit that like and subscribe. If you haven't yet, I don't know what you're doing. I mean, there's plenty of great racing here on CRN, no matter what night of the week it is, as we've got tons of racing here. VVR has put on some great races so far this season, and I expect nothing short of that next week as we head to the Milwaukee Mile. Thank you to the sponsors here on the series: Goldline Guardians, Fort Worth Screen Printing, and Hilton Crafts and Designs. Thank you to Tim Lee over there at VVR bringing us on board, as it's certainly been fun. But for myself and Jimmy here at Auto Club, we'll see you at the track.
Peace.